Quit spending money on those expensive waffles and make your own. With Happy Thai Girl's recipe, you can make amazing waffles. Top them with strawberries, bananas, peanut butter, whatever you want, and drizzle it with honey buttermilk syrup. That's coming right up with Spanish Fork 17's Cooking Made Easy with June, brought to you by Macy's, the happy shopping store in Spanish Fork. Welcome to Cooking Made Easy with June. I am so excited. Sometimes I just think, I pinch myself, I go, wow, I can't believe I have my own cooking show. But I do, and it's so awesome. I love Spanish Fork TV, and I love Macy's for helping us out, and I love all my guests. But today I'm by myself, and I'm going to show you how to make amazing waffles. You guys, waffles are, everybody loves waffles, right? Well, so there's different kinds of waffles. You know, the kind you go buy in the food truck where it's really expensive? Well, it's a little different. It's like, I've made it once before. It's like you have to make a yeast dough, and then you let it rise, and then you cook it, which I guess it's worth it if you want to go buy it. But honestly, my waffle recipe is so good that I think it's just as good. Now, the history of this waffle recipe is that one day I just decided to Google. I said, okay, what are the best waffle recipe in the world? Because there's different ones. And so I basically found something and I combined it. And I kind of took whatever worked and I put it here. So let's get started. Okay, so I started out with 3 cups of flour. And now I've also tried sneaking in some fiber. Of course, we always want to do that as moms, or anyone. You want to be a little healthy, you want to add fiber there. So you can maybe start out with maybe a third, 1 cup of whole wheat flour together with 2 cups of regular flour. But here I'm just going to make the plain white flour. Now I've also used, I love working with whole wheat because again, it's more natural and less processed, and it is better for you because it has some fiber in there to help with digestion. And so, but they have so many wonderful ones. They have like the lighter wheat, like the white wheat, which also you could probably use a full wheat waffle with the white wheat. So the next thing this recipe is so easy. I just put everything. You basically can dump it. But I have my recipe in me because I didn't memorize it. I'm going to add a cup of cornstarch. Now this is where the trick is. I was like, wow, this one recipe that I found had cornstarch in it. And I've even experimented with, one time I ran out of cornstarch and all I had was tapioca starch. And I actually love the tapioca starch better. And you can get that usually in the Asian store. And I didn't have it today, so I'm going to just use regular cornstarch. So I'm going to make about a cup of cornstarch, and that seems like a lot, but it kind of adds a little texture to it. So a cup of cornstarch, 3 cups of flour, and now I'm going to add 3 teaspoons of baking powder. I love this little Food Club brand because it has a little lip in here that I can just scrape it off. Okay, so I looked at that wrong. That's a half tablespoon, so that's about 1.5 teaspoon. So, okay, so if it's 3 teaspoons, so it's about a tablespoon. So that's really 3 teaspoons of baking powder. And then we add salt. Let's make sure that's salt. So now I've never tried self-rising flour. That might work, and then you would eliminate the salt and the powder, but I would recommend not trying that. Because I think there's a little bit more salt in this. A teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of baking soda. Okay. Also, when you're using all these baking things, making sure they're not expired, because that will really make a difference in how the leavening of your waffles. So baking soda, 2 tablespoons, 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of sugar. Here's the sugar. I love waffles because honestly, you can make it savory. You could make the regular waffles. You've heard of waffles and chicken? The fried chicken that they put on there? Some people would go, ew. But honestly, oh my gosh, it's so good. Now let me measure out the sugar before I tell you more about it. So it's 1/4 cup. Oh, I lost my place. Sugar. Okay, so it's 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons. So that's a lot of cup of sugar. I used the wrong cup. I need to start wearing glasses on show. I'm getting to the point to where like, see, look, I'm about to use a third cup. What the heck? Okay, so here is a half cup. So I'm just going to do a quarter cup plus 2 tablespoons. Okay. I hope I measured that about a quarter cup right. Okay, of sugar, and then I'm going to add, I add baking soda. Okay, now I'm going to add, I added all my dry ingredients, and now I'm going to add salt, eggs, 6 eggs. Well, let's stir our dry ingredients first. I learned this from another guest on the show, Wendy, and she whisks her dry ingredients, and it's awesome instead of having to sift it. Okay, so now we have 6 eggs. Okay, I'm gonna be a good girl, and I'm going, because I'm on TV, I don't want to be taking out shells, so I'm going to crack it in a separate bowl. So here we have 1, 2, okay, 3. One time I saw a little thing on Food Network, they had a contest, an egg cracking contest, and they were doing it really fast. They would go like that and use one hand, but I'm not gonna do that right now. Okay, so there's 6 eggs, and I'm just gonna dump it in there. Okay, 6 eggs, and salt. Okay, now 1.5 cups of milk. So there's, oh wait, this is buttermilk. How much buttermilk do I need? Oh, okay. Oh, it's 1.5 cups of buttermilk too. There we go. So I'm gonna measure right to the line. So 1.5 cups of buttermilk and 1.5 cup of milk. Now technically you're supposed to put the bowl on an even surface so that way you measure it more accurately. But honestly, this recipe, I try to be exact, but it doesn't have to. In fact, I may add a little bit more milk depending on how it turns out, the texture of it. So there's milk and buttermilk. A teaspoon of vanilla. Have you ever had vanilla in your waffle recipe? Let's see. Here's vanilla. And I think this is where it's gonna make it smell amazing. I'm pretty generous with my vanilla. I think I'll add a little bit more. I guess we can say 1 teaspoon, a quarter teaspoon. Okay, got baking soda, sugar. Oh, okay, 3/4 cups plus 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. So here's a 1/2 cup. So in a quarter cup, there are 4 tablespoons. So that's a 1/2 cup. So I'm going to add, because I don't have a quarter cup measurement with me, so I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of more of oil for a quarter cup. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and plus 2 more tablespoons. Okay, so that's the vegetable oil. And then I'm going to, I think that's it. Baking soda, vanilla, making sure I have everything. Okay, so that's just the batter. So I'm just going to whisk it. At this point, sometimes I just love, like, it's so quiet right now. But if I was not doing the show, I would be having music or watching a movie, a Hallmark movie. You know, a Hallmark movie, I love watching those because they're not stressful at all. Even if they have a conflict, you know they're gonna end up together and getting married, and their conflicts are, you know, so minimal. So, or I can just sit here and it's kind of relaxing. Cooking is awesome, stinking. So I'm just gonna whisk that really well. And you can make this batter well ahead of time, and like you're having a big party or a big get together. Just make as much as you want, and it'll store in the fridge for about 4 or even 5 days until it starts having a little funny coloring. And so really, it depends on your fridge too and your temperature of everything. But this is an awesome batter, and that's perfect. So when you guys follow the recipe like I did, it will come out perfect like this, perfectly like this. So this is, I'm so excited. Okay, so what else was I going to say? Oh, a substitute for buttermilk. I've done that before. If I didn't have buttermilk, I would use buttermilk. For every 1 cup, you would add a tablespoon of vinegar, and it works every time for baking. But of course, you know, you want to run to Macy's and get the real thing, but if you don't have it and you're in a hurry, then go ahead and use a cup of buttermilk with a cup of milk with a tablespoon of vinegar, and that'll make your buttermilk. So anyways, okay, so I'm gonna take a little break. I'm going to heat up the waffle iron, and when we come back, we'll we'll bake, I don't know what you would call it, bake some waffles, and then we'll make some syrup. So come back, okay? All right, welcome back. We've got our batter made, and I heated up the waffle iron now. There are so many different kinds of waffle iron, so as far as the timing goes, you're gonna have to just use the manufacturing instruction, or you'll just have to I'm trying to turn this right, or you'll just have to guess on your own. Okay, so I heated that up. It's kind of got something on there. So I'm going to spray a little cooking spray right there, so it won't stick together. This particular waffle iron is, it's a double one. It's the Belgian style. So I'm just gonna pour in there. Now, a lot of time it has a little tray, most of them. Now, I'm not sure if I wanna fill it up. I'm not sure that's enough, so I like to just spread it out a little bit like that. And it may not be a full looking one, but we'll just do that. And my ready light is coming on. I'm gonna do it about medium. And I flip it over, and this particular one, whoops, dripping everywhere, on both sides. And then, now I have also a flat square one that I love also, and it makes a little different style of waffle. But because they're flat, I've been able to make them ahead. All my batter, and I would freeze them, the waffles, and then the kids can just like break them into quarters and stick it in the toaster. So, but these ones you can't do that. Well, you can, but I don't know if it'll fit in the toaster. So I put the batter there, and that's it. So I'm gonna let it cook. And while it's cooking a few minutes, let me get a little plate or a tray. So when it's done, I'm just gonna put on my silicone thing in case I get done ahead. I forgot. I'm going to go ahead and start my syrup. So the syrup is so easy, and many of you have seen it, but I've modified it. Instead of adding corn syrup, remember all the little hype about corn syrup? Let me find my knife. So I'm just going to I'm gonna start by cutting my butter, because it's not soft. And I'm just gonna put a 1/2 cup of butter into the stove, in the little pot here. You don't want it too small or shallow, because it's gonna foam up a little bit. And so we have butter, and then we have sugar. Okay, let's see, 2 cups of sugar. So this syrup will go a long ways, and you can store it also. Goodness gracious, so there's 1. I was looking because a little piece of paper from the packaging got in there. Oh, there's a little piece of paper with the packaging. Okay, 2. And then we need a cup of buttermilk. I'm gonna pour a cup in there. And then we need 3 tablespoons of honey and a teaspoon of baking soda. So I'm just going to put a teaspoon of baking soda in here. So I just dump it all in there. So this is the easiest recipe ever. This whole thing's easy. And of course you can make everything ahead. And honey. So I'm just going to put I'm gonna guess. Oh my goodness, oh here we go. So about 3 tablespoons of honey. So 1, 2, and 3-ish. Nice. All right, so that's the honey. I'm gonna turn the stove on to medium-low because we do not want to burn or anything like that. So I'm just gonna turn that up a little bit like that, okay? Well, I'm gonna actually stir it a little bit and get that going. Okay, so now I have chunks of butter in there. Okay, let me check my waffle. Oh, okay, it says it's not quite ready. So I went on medium high there. Let me make it a little bit darker. Okay, so it's still cooking. So it takes about 4 minutes for that to make, I think. Sometimes I even time it. But I'm going to go ahead and do the syrup. Now, this syrup, I've seen different versions of this recipe, and I like it with honey better. And number two, some of the recipes require that you bring it to a simmer and then like boiling it for like a minute or 4 minutes even. And I don't love the texture of that because it turns out to be more caramely. So I like to just, if you look into the pot, I'm gonna stir it constantly on medium, and then so that it won't burn, and wait until the butter melts. As soon as the butter melts, I'm going to turn off the stove and take it off the stove because I do not want to cook it. I want to just melt it together and incorporate all the ingredients. So, and it's gonna be perfect because, like I said, I don't love the caramely texture for the syrup, and you're gonna see it's going to look so awesome. So I'm gonna check on my waffle again. Ooh, okay, I didn't put quite enough on that. Look at how beautiful that is, but still, it's brown enough. So I'm going to turn it over and take that. Look at that. Ugh, I wish you guys were here. You can smell. So for this particular waffle iron, I use about a 1/3 cup measurement, I believe. Where's my one? Oh yeah. So this is, actually it's a 1/2 cup. So it's about a 1/2 cup. Okay, so if you decide to go get one of these waffle irons, it's about a 1/2 cup. Well, a half and a little bit more. A half and a tablespoon, how's that? And I spread it up a little bit like that because the other one I didn't put enough. Okay, so each time you do it, I recommend that you spray a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Okay, one more thing. I'm gonna take a little break in a sec. One more thing is that when you're making a head like this, okay, so I'm waiting to top that and it's not ready if you're cooking for a lot of people. What I would do is I would put it on a rack, on a cookie sheet, and keep it warm, and that's what we'll do. On 140, 170, and so that was one of the tips I got online, was that that'll keep the waffle a little crispy. So that's what you're gonna do. Oh, okay, so here's my syrup, it's almost there. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna make a few more waffles, and then when we come back, we're going to top it. That's the funnest part. So you can actually have like an array of toppings ready. Maybe I'll raid my cupboard and see what I got in there. So come back and see what I have in my cupboard. Welcome back. Look, I made some more. Like I brought the rack out because I would, after my little segment, I'm gonna put it in the oven to keep it warm on about a 170 temperature. So I have that right there, and I have this other one sticks to the top, but see, they're not perfect, but they're just so beautiful. Ooh, I wish you guys could smell it. I took a sneak taste. So exciting. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about these and do some toppings. Now, so you could do anything you want for the show. I think I'm going to, for the picture, I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to do strawberries and bananas. So I think the bananas would look best first. So when I do the banana, now I still haven't got me a banana slicer, which is a shame because I would love the banana slicer. I can just go clip, clip from another show. So let's just put a few bananas there. Okay. And then some strawberries. Wipe this down. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of bananas, but I like it with things. And every time I think about strawberries and bananas, I think about, I don't know if you guys will age me, but there's this one little Stan's milkshake place, and they always have the best strawberry banana milkshake. So I'm gonna put some strawberries up here. Let's do another one. Not quite strawberry season, but they're out there and these are so pretty. Of course, you can go to Macy's to get these. And they don't have to be like that. So you can actually have like a bar of different toppings, kind of like you do with pancakes. And then you just, then you have guests come and you have a lunch already made and you could be making some more little station and it can just come through. That would be such a good wedding thing, I think. So anyway, so there's some strawberries and bananas. And I'm going to go ahead and drizzle this with my syrup over here. Okay, I'll bring it over here so you guys can see it. See, so I left it and I forgot it boiled. But so see how it's a little bit caramely, but it's still good. So it's I took it off the stove right away when I saw it boiling. So then, oh, you guys, this is amazing. Going to drizzle a bit more, just for on the plate. Then top it up with whipping cream. Okay, let me see if I can do this. There. And let's put some strawberries to make it look pretty, just right there on the side. Add some green to it, okay? Voila! There's the picture waffle. But like I said, you can make any topping. I'm going to just put a little piece on mine. Oh, well, I'll just do this. I just want to. Now I love, it could be anything. Let's do peanut butter banana. Peanut butter banana, that's awesome. Filling for me, since I already have this banana open. Put a few. And now my favorite thing is nuts and coconut. But you know what the heck, I have some pecans right here. So I just raided my cupboard. And, oh gosh, okay, scissors. And I'm just gonna put a few nuts. I love nuts. No, I don't have any coconut with me. I should have some. I'm just gonna put a little bit of syrup. And just so I can eat it on air. Oh, what the heck, a little whipped cream, right? I guess you could put some strawberries in it too. Okay. So, I know these taste good, but because I tasted it earlier, but I'm gonna show you, if you can see how, it's almost like a yeast-like waffle, but I didn't use yeast, I utilized the cornstarch. And I think that's the key to make it like this. And to keep it crispy, you put it in the oven. Now, I've also tried making the copycat of that famous waffle where you, like I told you earlier in the show, where it's like a dough. And honestly, it took longer to make and it also took longer to cook and you had to measure exactly. I guarantee you, you guys, if you go make these, you will not turn back. You will make waffles all the time. My friend, Julie and the Alquins, they love this. She went out right away after she had it at my house. She went and bought a waffle iron like this. She made the waffles and she puts ice cream on top. So I'm like, whoa, that's a good idea. And like I said, you can also put fried chicken strips on it. So it'll be chicken and waffles. Anyways, till next time, you guys, go to happythaigirl.com, Happy Thai Girl Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I'll post when this, excuse me, show goes up. And they'll post a recipe. It's so easy. And of course, my cookbook is I haven't submitted it yet, but I'm working on the cooking for the white boy, where all my American recipes will be, including this waffle recipe. So good. Happy cooking. Till next time on Cooking Made Easy with June. So come back for our next episode.